Assault rifles excel at medium-range combat, but are capable of maintaining much of their effectiveness over long distances too. Particular weapon types work better for specific situations, so you'll want to get used to switching back and forth between the primary and secondary weapons. I'm detecting some explosives nearby. We could definitely use those. I've put the location on the map.
You should have run.
According to my readings, those creatures are actually humans. However, their DNA is severely mutated.
Good hit.
According to my readings, those creatures are actually humans. However, their DNA is severely mutated. This supply pod is filled with grenades. Grab one and equip it. I think you already know how this works. Pull the pin, throw, and get out of there. Now that we're geared up, it's time to train you on the ego powers. First, we'll try Cloak. While using Cloak, you are completely invisible to enemies. Use the power to sneak up behind the projections and attack. Cloak must be activated to sneak behind the projections and attack. Cloak must be activated to sneak behind the projections and attack. Now we'll test the overcharge power. While using overcharge, your damage inflicted on the enemy is significantly increased. Shoot the projection while overcharge is activated.
Weapons out!
I'll enable the decoy power now. Decoy allows us to create a projection in your likeness that will fool and distract the enemy. Take down the projections while they're distracted by your decoy. The blur power is now enabled. Blur will allow us to move at extreme speeds and increases melee strength during close combat. With blur,
Defiance!
rush the projections and strike them with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. You must activate the blur power and strike these projections with melee attacks. Good work. You'll need to choose an eco power for me to integrate. Excellent. You must like to confuse and disrupt your enemies. I'm receiving a signal. I'll patch it through.
Can anyone hear me? I need help down here. It looks like the mutants are getting organized for an attack.
Oh no, we better help her. According to my readings, those creatures are actually humans. However, their DNA is severely mutated.
Shut this dude down.
Survival is not like a boss.
I have the ability to hack into most computer systems. Get to that thorium reactor, and I'll see what I can do.
Line, pal.
Let's check out that reactor. I'm sure we'll be able to use it to our advantage.
Smash it.
Excellent. I was able to reactivate the fissile materials. The reactor will overload and blow this entire base off the map. But we'll need to keep the mutants from disrupting the process.
Shield down.
The reactor is overloaded. Keep it going.
I'm dying out here. Another buck.
Varys has another contract available, and he's offering more than usual, which is suspicious. We should meet him at the crater. My systems have reached a threshold where upgrades have become available. You may now spend an ego unit. We need to find out if Mr. Von Bach survived. I'm picking up signals from a couple nearby evac seats. Fingers crossed that one of them belongs to Mr. Von Bach. You have been challenged to a duel. This will be a great test of our skill. This evac seat is empty. I hope whoever was in there is still alive, somewhere. I'm experiencing a lot of interference. Get to an open area so I can scan the valley. No, this person didn't make it out alive. I'm detecting a fading ego signal, which means this must have been a fellow archivist.
Down.
I'm receiving several Von Bach industry signals. One of them has to be him. Let's hurry and check them out. This expedition is in serious jeopardy if we fail to find Mr. Von Bach. He's the only one with the knowledge to unlock the secrets of the Arc Core. This is not Mr. Von Bach's body. This is a tragedy. I'm estimating the death count to be at least 300. This is the head of the security team. If he didn't make it, then what hope does Mr. Von Bach have?
Enemy down.
My DNA scan says this is not Mr. Von Bach, but VBI employee number 130. That's not good. She was extremely important to this expedition. This is a deceased Von Bach Industries technician. I fear the worst. We may have lost everyone. Whether Mr. Von Bach is alive or dead, he doesn't appear to be near the crash site. I think we're going to need some assistance in finding him. I'm receiving an SOS from Captain Grant now. I'll patch it through.
Repeat. All unarmed and injured survivors, get to cover and stay put. We will find you. All combat-capable survivors, report to the